All right, in this box is a welder from VEVOR. Let's unbox it. I'm just going to go ahead and take everything out, spare you guys the details of everything, and then we'll just lay it out and take a look at what's in there. All right, let's go through what's in here. Let's take a quick look at everything. So we got, this is a combination welder, which actually came with a TIG torch. So we've got a MIG deal here. Let's see if I can get you guys a little wider. We got a MIG torch. We got a TIG torch, which is pretty nice. A lot of them don't come with the TIG, so this one has it. This one comes with some of your TIG accessories that you need for TIG welding. It also comes with a, this is for stick welding if you want to do that. Got a ground cable clamp, kind of cheapy, but it works, sure. Some of the things that are cool, again, it's got a space for a big roll of wire. It doesn't have a wing nut here, which would be nice. And so you got to put that on. It doesn't have like a big square nut, but that's cool still. It doesn't, you don't have to change it very often when you put large rolls in. It did come with a roll, small roll of flux core. Maybe you could use that to just start. I would always recommend using gas, and so I would just use regular steel wire. Now you notice that it has a metal wire feed, which is good. Those are all the basic things we look for in a welder. So, well, we'll hook it up, plug it in, take a look. Another couple things here we'll point out is it does have through 4 knobs. So we've got current, MIG, voltage, and wire speed. So I guess that's inductance, I imagine. The first one is, so this is burn back. Oh no, that's actually probably inductance. That's interesting, they call it burn back. Voltage and wire. And then it has this button here, I guess, for wire feed, so you can feed the wire without having to run all the other stuff. And then we got 3 switches here. So it's pretty, as far as if you are experienced welder, it's got all the standard stuff, and you know, it's for the price point, it's got all the stuff basically you're looking for. Let's just hook it up and we'll see if it welds good. Isn't that what we're really looking for? It does have all the neat things. It has a current gauge, voltage gauge, so it's got all the right stuff. And it is 110 and 220. Let's see what else. Is that a 270 amp? I think so. So it's got a lot of juice. Let's see how lightweight it is. It's a little heavier than some, so it's probably got enough to cover some decent sized capacitors in there. So we got on, off for the gas in the back. Pretty much everything you need. All right, we will hook it up tomorrow because it's getting dark right now. I just wanted to do this real quick for you guys, and then we'll do some welding with it, see how it goes. Talk to you later in the video. All right, so I was playing with the settings a little bit here on this welder, and I'll just tell you a little bit about how you do that. So I had this at 18 volts, and then I don't know what the current is. I guess that's wire speed. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, wire speed was at 129, and or you know, you could be in there somewhere, even 141, probably be pretty close, but so yeah, right in there. Playing with it a little bit. Was able to get a pretty good, decently flat weld on it. So let me see if I can demo this for you a little bit. So I've got this set up here on a butt, and I'll just see if I can, it's really not the best way to have this thing set up right here. I really want this, be better if this thing was somewhere where this wand wasn't having to loop around stuff like this, but it's just what I have right now because of the heat outside. It's very hot out. Let me see if I can move you guys away a different place so I can get my body right where you are. So hang on a second, let's do that. So hopefully you guys can see okay. Make sure we didn't get too far off here. Pretty good sized wide gap, but that's okay. Let's see how it does. Weld up here a little bit. Hello. I really can't see very good. Much better if I had the door open. Let me clean that up a little bit. Let's see if I got it. We'll take a look at it. Let me just get a wire brush for that. Alright, I'll let you guys watch me do it too. I have no idea what it looks like. Yeah, it's a little lumpy, but it's definitely on there. It's kind of ugly looking, but it looks like it's pretty well welded together. So yeah, and we got full penetration all the way through. So it's, you know, does it always have to look pretty? Not really. Let me clean it up with the grinder and let's look at it. So we're right in there. Looks pretty good. Actually, with the grinder, cleaned it up, and I was welding up a pretty good sized gap there. Looks pretty good. So weld sheet metal pretty good, and that's one of the main things that I like to show people. Welding thicker steel, usually most of these welders will do just fine, but trying to weld thin stuff is always the hardest part. So it definitely passes that. Now let's try some rusty steel. I'm just going to go ahead. I just kind of did a sample to see if it was in the ballpark of the settings. So I'll go ahead and use that portion of it again, where I just kind of hit on there. I think it's pretty close. I haven't dialed it in. I didn't sit there and play with the settings for 20 minutes or anything. I just turned it off once and then ran it, and that's where I had, and it seemed like it was pretty close. So let me just run a bead on there and to see if it welds right through that rust. What it looks like. Say that was pretty much an A+ there. Let's look at that up close. Let me get my helmet away here. Let's take a nice look at that. That sucker welds thick steel like this is 1/8 inch thick, and just like butter. Look at that. Just melted that stuff. Really nice. Right through the rust. Didn't care. Let's try cleaning it. Looking at it. Yeah, there's no pits in there, nothing. So yeah, it welds right through the rust good. So you know that it's a good welder if it does that. It's a good start. And remember, that is with 023 wire. So like some of the, like the Harbor Freight welder, if I put 023 wire in it, I probably wouldn't be able to weld that steel and melt it the way that that did. It wouldn't be looking that flat. It would kind of want to mound, or it just wouldn't weld very well to it. It just wouldn't work as well as this thing. This thing is ready to do some thicker steel for sure. So another thing we're going to test here is we're going to try welding 2 different thicknesses of steel, because that's always harder to do. So we're just going to weld this piece of angle iron to this piece of square tubing. Check that out. I'll leave the settings the same. Let's see if it doesn't burn through it. Beautiful. A plus, man. Really nice machine. Actually, that's pretty impressive right there. You can just hear that nice crackly sound like a normal welder does. And it just melted the 2 pieces of steel together. Pretty flat. I could have probably turned up the heat a little more or turned the wire speed down a little bit, but I think it's actually perfect. So yeah, how good is it on there? Yep, she's pretty good. So that's the running sound. It's pretty quiet. It's actually a decent, nice, quiet welder. I kind of like the quietness of it. The things that were kind of a little bit annoying is I did have a little trouble when I'll turn this thing off. It does run the fan for a second after you shut it off too, to kind of make sure that it cools everything off properly. And I had a little bit of trouble with putting this on. Okay. This thing, the way that these things are designed, is kind of cheap. All right, and see how it's loose. You could actually put a stiffer spring on here, and I plan on doing that. I'm going to put a stiffer spring on here so that this doesn't walk around as much, because that could get annoying, and also that could probably make the wire want to stick. So that was kind of annoying there. The other thing I noticed is I had a little bit of difficulty getting the 0.08 to work on this. So I would recommend ordering a knurled, one of these, what are they called? Feed roller. I did get another regular smooth one, and it worked okay, but the one that came in the box, I had a little bit of trouble getting it to feed the wire. It kept on wanting to catch. But the thing here is manufactured and made pretty good, so that's good. It's just I had a little trouble with that. I'm not sure if it was me or if it was just the roller I got. Maybe it was just a little bit out of machining or whatever, but after I changed that, it seemed to work perfectly now. Having this knob here is kind of nice. This is the burn back, and what that is it gives you a little more wire right after you let off the trigger, and you can adjust it from 0 to 10 to compensate for, so that it won't burn back into the hole. So you don't always, I don't know if you ever had that happen. I don't usually have that happen, so I'm not sure. But that's kind of a nice thing to have. Remember, this is a TIG and stick welder, which is nice. So that's a big plus there. And the other thing that was a little bit annoying, again, is it did not come with the pressure regulator, but they're $25. So if when you ordered one of these, price that into it, figure another $25 for that. And you're also going to have to probably maybe get yourself a knurled wheel. Would be kind of nice to have, because it didn't come with it. Other than that, I see no issues really with the machine. I don't know how long it's going to last. It's of course made in China, but then again, look what you're paying. Compared to some of the others, some guys go, well, I just get a really good expensive welder from some other company. Maybe they're 2 or 3 times as much money. So, and nothing lasts forever. Even those have issues. Most of them made in China as well. And they have, they're manufactured better sometimes, but you're also paying a lot more, so you kind of weigh that out, and how long you're going to have it, that sort of thing. If it's something you're going to have temporarily, at least for sure, one of these is probably a much better deal. So, but these usually do pretty well. They last a little while. These China welders usually last pretty long. So I haven't had too many problems with the ones I've had. But again, they are inverter welders. They're not like the old school ones. The inverters have a lot more electronics in them, and the electronics can fail. So that's all things to think about. But yeah, the wand and everything's pretty good. The grounding clamp's kind of a cheapie, but it works. All right, so I wanted to show you real quick how the TIG torch works on this thing. It's kind of cool because it does have one. You may end up using it once or twice, or maybe you're going to go out and buy a gas bottle to use it all the time. Just remember, when you're doing TIG welding, you need to have a argon bottle for that. And I don't really want to go and switch the bottle out. That's one of the pain in the butt things. I like to have a TIG welder just for TIG welding. But if it's the only welder you have and you needed some TIG welding done, you could actually get it done with this. So let me show you what it comes with. It comes with this here, and what it has is you connect. In fact, you could probably have another TIG or your argon bottle set aside, and then just use this, and you just hook up this little hose to the argon regulator. All right. And then versus trying to have to, having it turn on, the gas turn on automatically, what you do is you just turn this knob here. This is this opens and closes your gas. So you set your pressure regulator to whatever it is, like 15. Okay. And then you go ahead and open this up, and then the gas will start flowing. And then you just take your tungsten when it's on here. I don't have one on here right now. And you just kind of dip it, touch the metal, and then you got your arc going, and you work it. So it does come with the torch, which a lot of them don't come with the torch. And so I was going to show you that. I thought it was really cool that it does come with it. And it is, being the way it's made, it's kind of handy that if you did need to TIG weld something, like if you had some stainless steel or something like that, and you wanted to do some welding on that, it won't do aluminum because it's not an AC machine. But it does have that feature, so that if you just had some stainless steel or something like that you wanted to weld, and you wanted it to be, you don't have to change the whole spool of wire to do it, you could actually do that as well. So that is a really nice thing to have, that it has that, and you don't have to buy anything. It comes with it. It also, again, has the arc welding tool, and this is your you don't have any tungstens, of course you have to buy those, and this is all the setup for that. So you have I forget what these things are called here. You just use these things, put them on there, the cups, that's what they're, cups. Put your cups on there, and then you put your tungsten in there, and you got yourself a TIG welder as well. So it does have that feature, and that's what this additional knob here is for. It's for the TIG current. So yeah, it's kind of a nice little thing. It does have the TIG welding additional thing, and I thought that was kind of a nice little feature to add with the other things that you have with it. I don't know what else to tell you. It's just a basic welder. It's 270 amps, so I couldn't imagine turning this thing up all the way. So I was up halfway at 5, and it was just melting the daylights out of this 1/8-inch steel. It just melted into that just like nothing. Just buried itself in there. So yeah, I'd say that's and that's only on 110, and this thing has 110 and 220, another big plus. Over some of the cheaper welders, you're going to have just 110 only. This one's got 110 and 220, so it's going to have more juice. And running it on 220 might be better than even on the 110. I'm just plugged into 110. I plugged in my nice fat cord here. See how thick that cord is? plugged into that and just ran it off that. So it's actually a really nice welder. I would definitely say it's a decent welder for the price. It's definitely one that I would consider. If you're looking at one that you want to do the settings yourself, you want to do all the settings yourself, then this is probably one of the ones to look at. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe.